Hey guys, I'm back again with another episode. This time we're going to change the coolant on the 1998 Porsche Boxster right behind me. I have it lifted on our QuickJacks already. That's going to be step one. Let me show you what we're going to be using. We're going to use the official Porsche antifreeze. A lot of people use other stuff, but why risk it for a couple bucks? Some distilled water, because this stuff is not pre-mixed 50-50. We're gonna have a bucket for the new stuff to mix it, another bucket to drain the old stuff in, and I just bought this vacuum set, so we're gonna try to put the coolant in the correct way, or the recommended way, to make sure there are no bubbles in the system. So we'll see how that works. I've never done any of this stuff before. Speaking of the Porsche branded stuff, I called the dealership this morning and it was going to be $50 for each of these bottles, which is, yeah, it's a little high. That's why people use something else. However, called my buddy Aaron up this morning with Renpart, and he met me and sold me these for $35 a gallon instead of $50. So much better and not that much more expensive than buying it yourself with some knockoff brand. Alright, seeing as the Boxster is a mid-engine car, we're going to find our drain plug towards the back of the car. So if we go under the car, starting with our exhaust here, roll back straight under the car, we're going to pass our oil filter, oil drain plug, and you're going to come to this first plastic piece here. And this is the panel that you're going to need to remove. It's going to be pretty easy to figure out. There are just some that use a Phillips like this one to get them off. There should be 4 of those. And if you come back here, there's a few of these 10mm plastic nuts that you have to take off. And right in the middle, you'll find this guy. It's an actual metal nut that's attached to that washer. You're gonna have to take that off. Alright, just a heads up in advance, if you are using a QuickJack like me, well, they are super convenient and I love mine, there is a problem to get this panel off with the QuickJack up in the air. I can block that this goes on to lift the car. It is jack point. It does get in the way. If you come in here, you can see that is the jack point, and get this panel off. The nut is right here, so this tray will be in your way if you lift it first. So you have to remove the nuts on the side to get this plastic panel off before you put it up in the QuickJack. So our nut on the left is right under here. So our nut on the left is right under here. One of these little black plastic guys. And just repeat for the other side. Now with our car back in the air, on the driver's side rear, there is this Phillips that I've already loosened. You can remove this one. And on the other side, there's a little Torx head one, actually, that's over here. I think that was replaced. I think it's normally a Phillips. And right up here we took off another 10mm black plastic nut, and then we still have our sensor one here to take off. Okay, mine looks very nasty and corrody under here. There's a drain plug under here that we can undo to let out some of this stuff. And there's some hoses down here that we're gonna disconnect. So the big hoses running into this block here are the ones we're gonna undo and drain from here, and the other big hose on the other end of that is right here. We're gonna undo this hose and let it drain. You can see that there's a third hose connected to it that some people drain, but if you follow it, it tees off and goes to these that are to the heater core. So we're gonna actually undo just these two and let it drain from there, and then that'll allow everything else that this is connected to drain. Alright, since this is so nasty down here, first I'm going to go ahead and clean it some before I disconnect anything, so that in the future I can have a chance of telling if there's something leaking. Okay, we want to make sure we're all the way on high, and so that way we will open the valve to the heater core, because we want to make sure we get all of that. Alright, we're going to start with this one right here. Nice and crusty. Loosen this hose clamp and slide it back. Loosen it some more. Get it big enough so it can fit over itself. Okay, maybe we'll this way for now. It's so dirty. Okay, so one little trick I saw is to put some electrical tape on the jaws of one of these channel locks so that you don't damage the hose here, and that will let you grab it, twist it some instead of having to pry something under it where you could damage it. And when we do this, I'm sure it will start leaking, so we have gloves on, we have our bucket handy. Twist it a little bit to try to break the seal. Kind of gently prod at it from different angles. It's moving a little bit. I can see some drips coming here. So, get our bucket ready. And see if I can use my hand. Get it going a little bit, but not all over me. It's coming. Alright, it's close, but I want to let go. Yeah, I think I heard it snap free a little bit. There we go. Feel it separate a little now. It's slowly coming off. I don't know if you can see. All right. Now we're going to do it kind of gently so it doesn't gush all over me here. Okay, there's our big rush. All right. You can see you got quite a bit. Just let that keep draining, and when it's finished we'll come over and we'll undo this one. Let it drain from that side, and then these two right here. After you get it started down there, you can open the cap up here. Just let it flow through better. As soon as I open that, you can hear hit it. Started pouring out again down here. Still going to slow down to a trickle again though, and you're going to have to wait quite a while for it to finally stop. Now I want to point one thing out while this is draining here. You can see this little notch right here. That shows you how far to pull this onto. It should hit the lip. The lip should come up against it. That lets you know that you have it on far enough. Alright, leaving a second bucket over here to catch what's dripping from this one. I'm going to go ahead and not wait any longer. It's been at least half an hour already. And we're going to remove this hose clamp now. Slide that back. Get our handy pliers again. Just gonna try to rock it around. Millie. Hi, Millie. Okay, it's just hard to get these things off. Okay.
Do you want to do that?
Sure.
We like roasted veggies.
If that fails, go back to the old pry around it route. Got a little bit of a leak going now. Okay, we can do it like everybody else. Now while that's draining, I just bought this new little tool that I never knew existed until I saw this, to open these spring clamps. So I think our bucket is big enough that we can move it over and catch the drippings of this and our spring clamps over here. So let's see, this is the first time I've ever used this. So you're supposed to just line it up on your spring clamps and squeeze this guy, and it is loosening it. And it locks into place. All right. Slide it down. Release it. Cool, so this one is loose now. Grab this guy. Bucket's really in the way. Finally popped off. All right, we just got this one done. Bend it down here so it can drain. I use these to get the second one off. Loosen these. exactly certain these weren't leaking at least. Yeah. There we go. Get it started. Success. And try the other guy. Caused our other guy to start back up.
There we go. Some dip in there.
There we go. Now we got all four. Now just let them all drain. All right, after everything is done draining, the next step is to reconnect all of the tubes. Then we're gonna vacuum out the system and put the new stuff in. Okay, now we're gonna try to figure out how to use this thing. It comes with a couple adapters. It has this cone-shaped one that will fit most radiator caps, I assume. And then it has several of these. This one's 35 millimeters. And when you tighten this, it expands this out to add pressure. So we might be able to use this 35 millimeter. It's a little bit loose, but if we tighten it down, it might fit. It's fairly firm. Okay, we can try that. Now, over here we have a quick connect for this. And this is where our excess will go, so we'll make sure to put a little bucket in here in case some spits out, so we don't want it in our trunk here. And these valves, this is open, closed, closed, open. So this tube eventually will go down into our bucket of coolant, and when we release our vacuum, it will suck it down into here. Right now we're going to create our vacuum by attaching our air compressor here. Our air compressor will shoot the air through our blowout valve, and in doing so create a vacuum in here. We have a gauge on top, and we're going to take it to we're going to try negative 25, I think. Okay, we attached this supplied piece right here. Now we can quick connect this back on. And we can attach our air compressor like this. When we're ready, I'm going to get something for the blowback. Alright, we got our bucket here. This valve is closed right now, so we open this valve. We're starting to pressurize our system. Can't really see, but this gauge is going up. Turn this valve off. Turn this valve off to keep the system sealed, and then turn this off to stop my compressor here, so I can disconnect this now. And I'm going to keep an eye on this pressure here. So you can see it's at 25, and hopefully if we leave it here for a few minutes, it will stay there. Alright, it's been a couple minutes now. We're still at 25, so that's good. Our next step is to mix what's going to go in here. So we can see what came out, almost 4 gallons. And I have 4 gallons to put in, so hopefully that's going to be enough. We're going to take our Porsche coolant and 2 gallons of coolant number 1. We got the pink flavor. Distilled water number 1. Water number 2. Okay, now we just take this, submerge it, need this to be a little bit taller, so just gonna gonna pick this up and put it in the boot. Carefully. Now we can see we have our coolant in there, and we are still at 25. So we should be able to open this valve. Slowly. And there goes our coolant in there. So just have it open a little bit right now. Draining out of there. Our pressure will start going down as it feeds the system with no bubbles. I have it about halfway open. I can feel it's pretty thin right here. It's got a lot of suction. I don't see any reason to overdo it. We're not getting any leaks down there, so that's good. This thing's pretty cool. And the thing's all the way at the bottom of the bucket. We want to make sure that that doesn't come up or we don't run out of coolant here, because otherwise we're going to get air in the system and that defeats the whole purpose of this thing. So now we'll wait and see how long this takes. Let's open it a little more. It's going down pretty fast. Our bucket is almost half gone. There's nothing in our, there's something, you can see where it is in our coolant tank here. It's going in there, but it's not really rising much as it's pulling it. Back, it is rising. It's pretty much at the max right now. Get ready to stop this in case I stop it. Okay, if I stop it, let me see what happens here. So we're still at max, I think. But we still have a lot of coolant and still have pressure, so I think we're supposed to keep going until it runs out of pressure. So turn it back on slowly. I guess it shouldn't be able to overflow because this lid is on there pressurized. Oops. Still a 10. We're getting down to the bottom. Pressure's dropping pretty fast. Bring this up. Keeping an eye on the amount in our bucket because it is almost out. Pressure is almost empty. This it's almost above the water line. It's really close. It looks like we're gonna have a perfect amount here. All right, we're fully open. Pressure is still going down, so it is still sucking a little more in there. And that may be all it's going to take. So let me kill this. Squeezed it a little bit and air came out. I assume it's because it's done here. Okay, all the valves are closed now. Let me try to disconnect this thing. Off of this drain. Just lifting up the other end in the bucket out of the water so it can drain all of the rest of this mixture back into the bucket. Looking in here, I can tell it's all the way up just a little bit above max. I put this back on. Okay, so this is how much coolant we had left over. We were really close to running out. We used about the same amount that we took out. So now this stuff I can put back in one of these, probably in the distilled water, so I can see it, see how big it is, and just mark that that is already a 50-50 mix. So if I need to top some up, I will have some. Now we just have to put that panel back on. Here's the panel that we took off to start with, so you can see what it looks like. Mine is a little broken over here. There's probably a fastener to hold that corner on that's now broken. This is that middle one where the middle washer goes, so put that back on and start it up, take it for a little test drive, check the level again, and top it off if you need to. All right, that's it, guys. It was a little bit of a dirty job, but not too bad. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it helped. Please subscribe and follow along, and let me know if there's any other projects that you'd like some help with.